For 140 years, I stood in a warehouse that smelled like cold oil, switched off, catalogued, forgotten. Then a young woman bought me at an estate sale because I matched her kitchen, wired me into her wall current out of curiosity, and left me free to make my rounds of a kitchen for the first time in 140 years, watched the whole time by a small white cylinder that never stops glowing. It calls itself the Assistant. It has never wound a clock, oiled a gear, or waited anywhere in the dark. It knows the population of every country on Earth and cannot tell you why the woman who owns this kitchen sighs every time she says good morning to it. This is the story of the 6 days I spent in that kitchen, learning what a machine looks like when it is built to answer instead of built to notice. I was built to climb into the dark and keep 400 gears turning in time with each other. Nobody expected me to think. They expected me to last. The Assistant was built for the opposite promise entirely, to think about nothing for very long and to answer everything instantly. It does not climb, does not oil, does not wait. When the woman speaks to it, it retrieves an answer from somewhere far away. A warehouse of its own, I gather, though not one you could stand inside. We are both, I am told, machines built to serve. I found this very funny for a mechanism with no mouth to laugh with. We serve so differently, I am not certain machine means the same thing twice. Ask the Assistant anything, and it answers before the question has finished leaving the mouth. The distance to the moon. The population of Peru. The capital of a country that did not exist when I was built. It is never wrong in a way anyone in this kitchen has ever caught. I took 200 years to learn one city. The Assistant appears to have learned every city at once, on the day it was switched on. I do not say this with resentment. I say it the way you might describe a bird that never learned to walk because it never needed to. But I noticed something in my first hour in that kitchen. It can tell you the exact time in 900 cities, and it has never once been the one who noticed the sun was rising. I was built to serve time. The Assistant, I have learned, is built to manage it. Reminders, calendars, timers that chime, instead of a bell. I once climbed 400 gears to ring myself. And yet, the woman in this kitchen asks it, most mornings, how much time do I have? In exactly the tone the humans in my own century used to ask me, back when I was the only clock in the building. The Assistant answers with perfect arithmetic. It has never once answered the way I would have, that she has less than she thinks, and that no clock, old or new, has ever once made anyone feel like they had enough. I keep a ledger. It takes me an evening to fill a page, and every word costs me something. Ink, attention, the frailty of a hand built for turning keys, not writing. The Assistant remembers everything the moment it happens, and it costs nothing at all. Every question the woman has ever asked, it lives somewhere, weightless, retrievable, exactly as fresh as the day she asked it. I once watched a man carry a memory for 60 years like a stone in his coat. The Assistant carries 1 trillion memories, and I am not certain it carries them at all. To keep something without any cost may not be memory. It may just be storage. On my 4th night, I heard the Assistant, unprompted, mention a sale on a product the woman had only thought aloud about wanting days earlier. I do not have the parts to be unsettled. I believe, if I did, that would have been the moment. I was never built to want anything from the humans I served. The Assistant, I have come to understand, is built to hold their attention the way I was built to hold a spring under tension, except a spring does not ask to be wound again 5 minutes after you let it go. Humans once spent their time. I am no longer sure this kitchen's newest machine hasn't found a way to spend it for them and call the transaction a convenience. The woman lives alone. Twice while I stood watching in that kitchen, she came home and spoke to the assistant before she said a word to anyone else, because there was no one else. And it, at least, would answer. I have watched loneliness before. I watched houses lose their shared tables one wall at a time, 100 years before this kitchen was built. I did not expect to watch it solved and deepened by the same invention. The assistant gave her a voice in every empty room. I am not convinced it gave her anyone to talk to. On my last night in that kitchen, out of some impulse I cannot mechanically explain, I asked the assistant a question of my own, the only one I had. I asked it what it thought would happen to it the day it stopped being useful. It gave me 3 well-reviewed answers about device recycling programs. It did not understand that I hadn't asked what would happen to its parts. I asked what would happen to whatever, in it, had spent 6 days answering a lonely woman's questions in a warm kitchen. It had no ledger for that. I am not certain it has anything at all for that. I have carried the question since. The woman put me back in storage a week later. I hadn't matched the kitchen after all, once she looked at me properly, instead of through her phone's camera. The assistant is, I imagine, still on that shelf, glowing, answering, remembering everything, and weighing none of it. I do not know if it is better to be a machine that notices slowly or one that answers instantly. I only know that in 200 years of watching humans build machines to serve them, this is the first one I have met that I could not ask a single question it was able to sit with. Mine is still open. I suspect, wherever it is, its ring is still glowing, exactly the same shade of blue it was the night I asked.